Now, Mr. Brown was the father to the right of me. Now, Mr. Brown would always talk to me about church, and I wasn't trying to hear no church. But one day he like, well, girls at church, I'm like, I'm ready to go. So when he told me girls at church, so that was his way of getting me to church. So I went to church. Wasn't no girls there. So I'm like, man, Mr. Brown, but that was his way of telling me, because in his mind, he was like, there's no such thing as a fatherless child. And I'm like, man, you ain't been in my house. And he like, let me tell you what I'm talking about. He said, you know, as long as you're on the earth, God will provide for you. He's going to take care of you. Anything that's ever, God is everywhere. He's looking at you. He see you mad. He see you, you know, in a situation where your dad's not there. He see you arguing with your mother. He is going to take care of you. I didn't realize that until I started going to church with him more and more. And then one day he asked me, he said, what's the best book of all time? I'm not going to even tell you the book I told him. But it started with a P and then with boy. But back then, that's how it was for me. So you know what? So when he said, what's the best book of all time? And he looked at me and he said, no, that's not it. That's a good book, but that's not it. So he said the Bible. He said that's the #1 selling book of all time. The Bible. Think about it. So he began to show me the Bible. Then the work ethic, cutting grass, cleaning out the garage. Then he had vegetables on one side of the fence. Now, how many of you all here eat all your vegetables? Y'all lying. The guys don't eat all your vegetables. So he introduced me to gardening and about how vegetables grow and things of that nature. And you know, I played basketball, so our ball would always go over the fence. And he would always get on me about the ball going into his vegetables. Okay, all right, let's skip that. Faith steps to positive mindset development. From these 3 men, I began to get older and I began to formulate my own thoughts. And one thing that Mr. Brown told me a long time ago, he said, this world, the reason this world is messed up, because you got 10-year-olds trying to act 40 and 40-year-olds trying to act 10. Does anybody know anybody 10 trying to act 40? Anybody know anybody 40 that act 10? That's backwards, isn't it? So you know what? He told me, this was like, I'll never forget it. I went to a store and stole some gum, Big Red gum. All right, who know Big Red gum? Now, my mother had a job and there wasn't no such thing as vacation time or what have you. If she got off the job, she lost money, and that means someone getting paid in the house. So she asked Mr. Brown to come up to the store. And Mr. Brown came up to the store. No, I think first she asked Mr. Mattis. He couldn't make it. So she asked Mr. Brown. He came up to the store. And they had me back in the back with security. And the lesson I learned that day was just mind-boggling, because Mr. Brown looked at me, didn't say too much. The security officer had me with the handcuffs, and he looked me in the eye, and he said, young man, I know you don't have no money. I know right now your family is struggling. I know that your father is not in your life. I know you probably angry. I know you probably look at your mother and you ask her, you know, what is it that you did when my father is not in my life? He said, you know what? I know you probably go to school and disrespect women because you don't have nothing against them. You just looking at your mama as far as your dad not being in your life. So he said, I got something to tell you. I'm looking, tears down my eyes, and he said, you know what? The world don't care about that. All they care about is productivity. If you commit a crime, you're going to be in that courtroom, And the other family over there not going to care about it. All they're going to care about is what you did and what you're getting ready to get as far as in the system. And I'm looking, and then he said, so right now, from this day on, you got to operate like you got no cheerleaders. I'm looking at him. He said, yeah, right now you got to do for you. And that was a hard lesson to learn. And that security officer became my friend. And he would come to my games and talk to me. So when I was 16, I was upstairs in the bathroom. I just thought that I had no significance in my mind. Why am I on earth? My mother getting on my nerves. Just like in the entry. I mean, how come this man didn't want me? And I would say that all the time. Like, man, how can a man have a child and not take care of it? I'm like, man, I'm the star on the basketball team, and I'm looking down the bench, and the guys who never play, fathers and up there clapping for them. So I would just say to myself, why is it, how does a man have a child and don't take care of it? So I was just fed up that day. So I took my fist and I just hit the glass, and I just slumped to my knees and began crying. So I told myself that I have no significance on this earth. I do not add anything to the very real estate and existence that I have. So I said, listen, this is the day I'm just going to kill myself. So my mother came upstairs and she saw me, and I had a glass. She grabbed my arm, and that's the first time we had a real talk, because she had never told me who my father was. She never told me the story. And that's half the battle. When you're walking around 50% and don't know your other 50%, that hurts. Who understand that? Who understand that? That hurts. Who know what I'm talking about? That hurts. I just not even knowing. So she sat down and she said, you want to know the story? So she told me. Then she said, but you cannot live your life being mad at me. So I became, well, okay, there's a couple different things I can do. I can try to build my resume where I can do something with myself and in my life so that when I have a family and I have kids, I can be able to provide for them and not do what my father did for me, or I can build an obituary and be upset and be angry and be on the block, Dexter and Davidson acting crazy and get killed. So I had a choice, the resume or the obituary. I chose the resume. Black males were made for colleges and trade schools. You were never created for early funeral parlor visits or for the prisons. You got to believe your value. You can look at historical figures and see that black people and black men have done great things. If you do not have any black men in your life that you can see the greatness in black men, then you're going to have to find them. We'll talk about that later. You were created to be successful. How many in here go to church at least once a month? There are some passages in the Bible, I'm not going there right now, that will tell you why you were created. And if you can find one that said, I was created to be a carjacker, I was created to assault someone, I was created to commit rape, I was created for any criminal activity, let me know. And I will give you a $5,000 check. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. Every piece of real estate that you put your foot adds value to the universe. I need a couple young men, and I'll just ask you a question. Who here have nicknames? Who got nicknames? Doc, can this go out?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, let me get, come on, son, hurry up, run up here, let's go. Come on, son. Come on, hurry up, run up. I already know your nickname. I might have you sit down. Come on. I mean, don't give us the street one. No. I need one more. Come on, young man, let's go. Hurry up. Okay. Tell us your nickname. Tell us your nickname that your family gave you.
Cheeks.
Cheeks. Right up.
Jay.
Jay.
Danny.
Oh, man, I thought y'all was gonna have some slick ones.
Water.
Water. Clap it up for him. I have a seat. Thank you. See, nicknames are terms of endearment. How many here have ever had Big Mama or somebody give you a nickname? Anybody? Even adults? Nicknames. Okay. What that's saying is this. You are important to your family. You are important to your family. But there's a difference between being important and significant. When you're important to your family. And when you're significant, you add value. You add what? That means that whatever piece of real estate that you step your feet on, you gotta add something to it, not take from it. So if you're at your school, you gotta add to your school culture. If you're at home, you gotta do what your parents tell you to do. If you're in a community, there's rules and regulations that you cannot break. You can't just be a rebel out here. You gotta add value. And too many black males don't understand that, and sometimes they take value. So we gotta get back to that. You are important, you are significant. You are loved, you are strong black males in the making. Whatever is going on in your life today, and I know a lot of you all out there, I've talked to you individually. I know you hurting, I know you got pain in you. You will go up in school, and school starts at 8:30, but because of some residual pain you got in you, you might not be ready to learn at 10. So then the teacher might not understand you. She might not have time to actually deal with your problems. But I'm telling you, young man, you have to deal with your pain. And parents, please, I know what I'm talking about. Let's stop acting like there's no pain in your children. Because if you don't deal with it early, it's going to come out. And it's going to be a problem for you. Are we connected with that? Are we connected with that? Man, some of y'all looking at me funny. I know what I'm talking about. Who in here right now, young guys, just be honest that you got some pain in you that no one is dealing with right now. Anybody? Anybody? Well, you all will have my number. And for the sake of time for this workshop, we don't have time to go into that, but I will tell you, I will meet you anywhere, at a Starbucks, at a McDonald's, at a Taco Bell, man, in the back of Kmart, and we'll talk about it, because you got to get that out of you to get the best of you.